What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Café Society podcast.
Hosted by Christian Zapata.
And your co-host, Joseph Jerez.
Yes, sir. Today, the episode is all about... Cheers.
Today, the episode is all about drinking, okay? And what we're drinking today is just a little bit of whiskey with a splash of Coke. We didn't really have much options. We had some friends over, which it was really great, honestly, to see our friends from back home. They came and visited.
I thought they would never come.
I thought that they would never leave, you know? That's the truth. I love my friends, but we're in a state right now where we're trying to be so productive, and that disruption was
It threw
really,
everything off.
Yeah, it was.
It's what it feels like.
It to me, it threw a lot of my pacing off.
Yeah, because we were linking up together every single day and doing something. We were either trying to shoot video. I mean, we shot episode 1 like 5 times.
Facts. Yeah, quick story. We were having so many technical difficulties. We had to re-record episode 1 multiple times. And I honestly, to me, it got kind of sickening just having the same type of conversation. So I am very excited now that we can
switch it up,
have a new conversation, have a drink, and catch up. Because honestly, with like everyone over, you know, it was really difficult for us to even have the conversations that we normally have, which are
it's almost like the podcast put on steroids, I think, because we're not used to the natural flow yet.
Yeah, exactly right. Our conversations usually are like, I always walk away with them learning something, you know what I mean, whether it's about each other or something, the world
topic.
Exactly right, man. But let's get into today's episode. So, you know, you and I, we're business partners. Mm-hmm. We also are trying to grow our separate portfolios at the same time.
Screw each other over in the process.
I have contracts that say that I own your firstborn child. Thank you for signing them without reading. I appreciate you.
Maria, that's not true.
Maria, it's true. His name is Taco.
Hey, like Taco Fall.
Yeah, exactly right, bro.
Oh, man. I hope he gets into the NBA.
Man.
Yeah. But no, so today's episode primarily starts off around the idea of growing a business during a pandemic, which I think a lot of people this year, if you saw, actually started. It was the time. You know, it was time that everybody's at home, might as well.
You have so much time being spent at home, and it's like, if you aren't working from home, you know, and even if you were working from home, you kind of get bored, you know, and you start to, me at least, I was in critical thinking most of my time during quarantine, which just helped me realize, like, I mean, this is something that we've been working on pre-COVID, you know, building the foundation to our business.
But it was always so tough to continuously meet together.
To focus on it, yeah, because we have so much going on in our personal lives, and
just not even having your own meeting space where you can do something like legit have 1 hour of your own time.
Yeah. So us moving obviously was a big part of growing our businesses. But have you noticed any other obstacles or solutions maybe?
Do you mean like during COVID or during like moving together? Or?
Even like during COVID right now, I mean, there's so much going on currently. You know, California is about to roll back into phase 2, you know, which is obviously going to affect the way that we operate in some capacity. So my question to you would be, are there any obstacles that you see coming towards you with phase 2 potentially rolling out?
I mean, my biggest thing was scheduling. The first time that I was in quarantine, I was with Maria the whole time, and she does such an excellent job at bringing a life into, like, balance into my life. We always had this conversation, right? When you have a house, you bring a woman into it, and she makes it to a home.
That's right, man.
And so I was fortunate back then to still have a balance, and things seemed normal for me because once, I don't know, a certain time came around, I couldn't just keep working. And even though my mind was lost from the time perspective, I don't know if it was Monday, Tuesday, whatever it was, but I knew that she was there, and I knew it was getting a little dark out, and I'm like, man, I want to do something. I want to cook dinner. I want to watch a movie. I don't know, whatever it is.
Almost like she balanced.
Yeah.
She 100%. Balanced out your life. That's incredible, man. Yeah. You know, and we recently went to go visit our friend Andy for a Friendsgiving up in Vegas.
Yeah.
Shout out to my friend at Andy Audet, one of my most influential mentors and friends, and I hold him dear to my heart. He will be our episode 100 guest for sure.
You really want to give him episode 100 just like
Episode
that?
100, bro.
Man, Andy, you better pay for that.
Episode 100, baby.
You better sponsor that. The Odd
but
Day Enterprises.
you know, we talk about him. He's so driven, you know, so driven that his mind doesn't think about the menial task or even just comfort, right? Like to him, that $30 couch that he bought 4 years ago that's ripped to shreds, now he upgrades his living space, right, to a larger home, but strictly for business reasons, right? He's like, no, I only got this 3-bedroom because I need a new office space. Before COVID happened, he was like, I need an office space in home.
It wasn't necessarily to have a more inviting space.
Yeah.
With your woman and
more productive space, you know, but him having such a strong woman by his side, right? And she is really great at letting him know, like, hey, like, let's balance this out. Let's buy some new furniture. Let's upgrade the comfort of our home so that way we have a more inviting and productive space overall. And
I think it's amazing
yeah,
how
he didn't have that balance before the woman came in his life.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing how you know, when you have that life partner, they can always keep you in check. And I think you can be Snoop Dogg, you can be Jay-Z, it doesn't matter. But when you come home, you know, like you're not that person that is looked up to by everyone. You're just Sean Carter.
That's right. J Balvin, I loved his Architectural Digest open house
with the
video.
Japanese.
Man, Japanese inspired home, so beautiful. But he said, he was like, in this house, I'm not J Balvin. In this house, I'm just Jose. That's it. I'm just Jose. And I thought that was really humbling of him to say, right? Because it's like he understands, like, you can't live in that echo chamber of ego, you know.
But there has to be something to be said about, for him too, it's an escape, because once you become J Balvin and you're always in that spotlight so consecutively, and I think for artists that are well established, this was like the best vacation in their lives. They travel all the time, you know. They're like on the road 100 days out of the 365.
Man, imagine that. And they're doing great at it though. But luckily, with us, right, we were able to, during the pandemic, we were able to have jobs that allowed us to work from home, so we didn't skip a beat, you know. But when we moved out here, you know, I was on the hunt for something new.
Yeah.
Right. So I started to apply to some new jobs, and obviously you're still with your current employer, right?
Yeah.
But closing in on something bigger potentially.
We might have to cut that out, depending on where this is posted.
Nah, you're good. Don't worry. Yeah. But you know, I think it was really interesting, like how we are both here, but we made different choices.
Yeah.
So my choice was to decline the job offers that I had and the jobs that I was closing in on, and I decided that I wanted to focus on the business and just continuing to grow this, right?
My choice was to continue to pursue this job, which pays well over, what is it, 6, 7? No, it's 6.
6 figures.
6 figures.
Sure.
And so it's continuing to chase after that, but mainly because of college loans.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest reason.
Do you think that, now, just for context, guys, I did not go to college, okay? After high school, I decided to work, so I've never had any tuition, debt, or anything like that. So our choices are different because of that. Now, what I want to ask you is, do you think that because of your college loans that affected your decision to stay employed with this person?
Man, my college loans have ruled me. You know, I think we talked about this in the past, and I said, if you owe debt to someone at that scale, that any dollar that comes into your bank account isn't yours. Because
which is nuts.
You're losing money literally every day. If you actually take time to study your loans, you will realize that the interest rate is calculated based off of the last time that you had paid that loan off. So it's every day since you have paid that loan off, interest is
It's
being accrued.
accruing. Whew, my gosh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to have found a path of minor financial success that allowed me to create enough of
A window.
a window so I can focus on this without having to stress about, you know, debt of anything. So I was able to decline a couple of jobs that were 6 figures. One was potential 7 figure job, you know. And my question for you would be, if you can go back, would you still go to college?
Uh,
It's a loaded question for sure, and take your time.
I would say currently, based off of the way that the business has been, truthfully, we profit, but it's not like consistent.
Yeah,
And that's due to our own actions.
for
Right?
sure.
I think if I found someone that had the business acumen that was able to lead me on, maybe I wouldn't have. I mean, there were so many times that I left during college because one of our friends was, Andy was running a whole business. You grew
By
that
19,
business.
yeah,
You
he
had
was in
what, like
charge.
20 employees or something like that?
No. We didn't have 20. We didn't have 20. We didn't never hit that amount. But I did have a couple of stores under my belt that I was running, and because of Andy's guidance, he helped me grow and have a more business forward mindset. Which was great.
But I want to ask you, because you never had to go through a debt of that scale. So how do you feel knowing that others do have to go through that out of the gate? And that's something that you didn't even realize that you didn't go through.
Growing up, and I knew college wasn't really going to be my forte because I couldn't sit still in class. I didn't care. I went through some things in my childhood that made me less open to going to even class. And a little bit about this. I was known for skipping class. They called me Taco Bell because I
You
was always.
brought my, I had 100 in Italian, what one, for 3 quarters. And then when we started hanging out, it dropped to like a 60.
And I apologize,
To
but you're
my mom.
welcome. But you're welcome because
I had fun.
you had fun. You know what I mean? But at first I thought I was at a disadvantage. I was like, man, like my parents weren't really that active, and I love my parents and I love them for what they did. They did the best of their ability. They were first generation in this country. They didn't really have that school mindset, and they weren't able to really be there 24/7 to make sure I was doing my schoolwork. They just went off of the word of mouth. If I said I didn't have homework, to them, I didn't have homework, and that was it.
That was it.
And I would go hang out. So when I got out of college and I was working, I was like, damn, I fucked up. I should have focused more in school, went to college.
Now, was this the first year after high school?
First year after high school. Yeah, first year after high school. I didn't even graduate high school. You know this.
Yeah.
Right? First year after high school, I was just like, dude, I didn't even fucking graduate with my classmates. I spent 4 years in school with not even a high school diploma. I was like, I fucked up. I got my GED, and I started to find myself going through a struggle, finding jobs that paid well, or learning skills, and when they would ask for certain things, and I didn't have that. I didn't have that experience. I didn't have that knowledge even, because I was in a really restricted community. But I learned more and more, and I started to gain more skills. I was able to communicate better. And then eventually I was with Andy and George, and, we were operating such a large, small business at the time. I was 19, Andy was 19, hitting 20, George was 20, and it was like, well, now I'm kind of really grateful that I didn't go to college, because I was making the same money as some of our old classmates that were leaving college, and I had no debt. You know what I mean? I was making money, but I had no debt. So I was like, whoa, this is kind of nice.
That was the thing that hit me, because my first year, I definitely was making less than I think I was making less than actually I think we both know that, like right out of college, right?
Yeah.
So I spent all that time and I studied and studied, but back then I didn't actually know how to. Back to what you said about not knowing, like you look at the list of qualifications, you're like, shoot, like I, I don't know any of that.
Exactly right, man. You get nervous when they ask you a question. You're like,
I don't know. You never want to say I don't know, but it's so funny because you shouldn't feel afraid to.
you shouldn't. Yeah, it's absolutely right. You
Yeah.
shouldn't, but they make you feel that way.
But what my question for you is, because you were looking at enterprise sales as part of a role, right?
Yep.
And it is different than I think the sales that you were doing with Andy.
Sure.
So how did you feel once again looking for something different than what you were used to?
At first, I mean, and this was like, again, like another thought that I was like, damn, what would have happened if I went to college? You know, would I have been able to acquire these skills and been able to communicate at this level with enterprise sales? But, you know, once I got my resume in check, right? And then I started putting in those applications, and it's a numbers game. You know, I was putting in tons of applications every single day. Once I finally landed those in-person interviews or those over-the-phone screenings, they loved me, and I was like, it put that confidence back in me. I was like, man, at the end of the day, you know, they can take a kid who's fresh out of college, but he has no experience. You know what I mean? He has the knowledge, but he doesn't know how to apply it. Me, I have the knowledge. I just have to be able to communicate that properly in the way that, you know, these companies want to hear it. You know, because I know how to do these actions, but can I communicate the actions that I know
To the employer interviewer?
Exactly right. Yeah, it was like, because they want to hear it in their way, in their wording, you know. But I have the skills and I know how to apply. I have the real life experience. When a business is failing, what can we do? What can we do to get some sales, get some revenue back in the door? I know how to take those actions. So once I remembered all that, I was like, man, this is easy. This is any other company. It doesn't matter. I worked for the largest company in the world.
Yeah.
If I did that, I can work for any company I want, you know? And I was lucky enough to leave the largest company in the world and not worry about it. You know, I don't have any stress financially right now, you know, and that's something that I'm super freaking grateful for, because I never went to college, never got any debt, you know, and I'm sure that there's people who would argue against that, you know, and I don't think that college is for everyone, right? But I don't think that it's for anyone, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at for it.
What I would say is, for a large portion of the job roles that are out there, especially the ones that are more tech forward, just look at the qualifications that are there and say, okay, if I don't have it, like list what you don't have or you don't recognize and research that, find out what it takes to get that. Because I think one of the most popular things is to be like a contractor. If you're like unemployed, right? They say like, oh, contractor, maybe they're just unemployed. But, you know, offer your services on like a Fiverr or something like that.
Whatever it may be. Yeah.
If it is, you know, sales, you say, hey, let me, Joe Schmo from.
Why do you got to use Joe?
Huh?
Why does it have to be Joe Schmo? Why can't it be Zapata Schmo?
Zebediah Schmo from your family's, like your local Dunkin'
Local
Donuts, your
business, yeah, whatever it
local
may
business, and say, I want to attract new business for you in the way of, I don't know, like getting like sponsoring someone out there or something.
That's
like
right.
that, just bringing business in that way. And then that's, you know, you just have to think a little bit outside of the box. Then maybe you land a client or two, and then now you can put on your portfolio in terminology that the job you want is asking for.
And that's it. And I love how you mentioned, you know, if you own this small little business, you don't have to operate at a global level. You don't have to operate in this crazy fashion, right? You can just start small. You start small, you keep building, and as long as you're consistent, those small increments and those small increases in your portfolio will be huge at the end. You know what I mean? When you look at the overall picture, you know, it's just even how we operate on a back end, right? It's small little tasks. We complete these small little tasks to achieve the big picture.
Yeah, I always think it's funny, this era of just instant gratification and how that's led into business. I think we've both seen many versions of people wanting to pursue something because they think it's so cool how someone can build and scale something, but then 2 to 3 months in, it's like, wow, okay, no results. What do I do now?
What do you do now?
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I know that I'm not even saying that we've even achieved success to the standard that you and I apply ourselves to.
For sure.
But we're continuing.
And that's it.
Trying.
You just got to keep going.
And I think, so many people, they look at the success of, even not directly, but just indirectly, they look at the success of an Apple out there, a Samsung, whatever it is. Samsung was in business for like 40 years before they even got into tech.
As a grocery store.
Yeah, something like
which
that.
Which is nuts.
I mean, Apple wasn't even, they made sales and Steve was very rich, but to the level of like one of the number one companies in the world, that wasn't until like the iPod.
That took a lot of time. That was in the turn of the century.
Yeah, I would say, the Mac definitely brought them up there.
It boosted them.
But I still wouldn't say to the level of where they were with iPod.
They were operating in a single market. Once they came out with the iPod, it just massive growth since then. But I think you brought up a great point with instant gratification. I don't think people even look at these companies anymore, like Apple and Samsung. I think they really just look at now like Logan Paul or Bryce Hall and all these TikTok, Addison Rae and these.
For sure, because it's
TikTok.
more relatable. It's one person.
Yeah, and
you're one person.
And they're like, this person just blew up off of TikTok making dance videos. I can do that. They come out with 3 videos and they don't see any results, and they're like, man, this is whack. This is bullshit. Well, it's like, well, hold on. If they did it, that means you can as well, right? And I do believe that the opportunities are always there, but we don't know. I mean, we don't know how much work they were putting in behind the scenes or how much time they've invested in creating videos. Logan Paul talks about his journey. He's been making videos since he was a kid. You know what I mean? And it just so happened that when Vine came out and things like that he was able to now finally apply the skills that he's been nurturing and building
over time,
right? And apply it to a mass audience. But with that being said, I do want to take a quick ad break and just explain to you guys a little bit about what we're offering for you. So if you don't mind, go ahead and check out our website, www.amedperdue.com.
That is www.amesperdues.com.
That's right. You go to the website, you click on the shop, and there you can see our physical and our digital copy of our editorial. Talks a little bit about our stories from Europe, and hopefully you can find some inspiration from there. You can get it online. We'll ship it to you. It does take 3 to 7 business days. If you do the physical copy, digital, you'll get it immediately. Okay. And then also stay tuned because we are coming out with some more YouTube videos and more content on the, Instagram. So give us some follows, subscribe to the podcast as well. Cheers.
Back to the show.
That's it.
So on to what I was really waiting to talk about, right? Because we worked for a lot the past days, and we talked about balance and stuff like that. But for me, I did burn out a little bit in the last weeks, but I also had fun too.
I had fun. I think the balance was not there once our friends showed up from back home, right? It tilted very much to the fun side and not the productive side, which, I mean, is something that we should have expected, and I think we both did anyways.
And it is a good break, but the problem is it was a break in a time where we
didn't really want to break.
Yeah.
But it is done, and we have decided, like, okay, we're back on the wagon.
And we had lots of memories. We had great memories.
Great memories, and it helped us. It helped us kind of also, I think, realign with like, all right, that was great, but what we're building is going to be so much better. Now I was so excited. Once they were gone, I was like, yes, let's go. We can work
especially
again.
once we start to integrate them into it as well, and or at least if they can benefit from that, and we can benefit from their opinions. And
absolutely.
Yeah. for me, it's more about having these smaller stints of that break, whether it be an afternoon, whether it be a Saturday or something like that.
That's how you find balance and fun and productivity, like a small break.
Yeah, if it's like a week, I'll never forget when I was with Marvin and Yanko in DR. It was like, no, it was actually like more than a week or something like this. But by the last 3-4 days, I was exhausted. I mean, not necessarily exhausted.
Well, you guys were partying.
So the
pretty
energy was kind of gone, and it's because I do enjoy like kind of working on these things. I have these ideas, and I really want them to come into fruition. I think that year was the year that we actually conceptualized this, and that's when we weren't on Purdue yet.
We weren't even on my Purdue. Maybe one day you guys will find out what we were originally called. Yeah.
And I was like, man, these last days, I even started like just still researching some information to try to grow that way at the very least.
The way that we were trying to grow, which was just vertical, pretty much, just growing vertically. But I think that's an interesting point, though, right? Like that happens often in our life is we're in the middle of something and then we kind of get swept away by another energy, you know what I mean? Like, or a trip or whatever it may be.
We still haven't practiced a form of stoicism in which we're not entirely affected by those out external like energies.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's something that we can absolutely apply more to our business practice. For me, right, balancing like, all right, if I'm like, because I can't, if I burn out, it's a problem, right? Because I'll just shut down. And that's just always been the way that I operate. It's like, if I'm not in it, I'm not in it. I shut down and you won't catch me until I'm ready.
And my problem is I'm stubborn. So I try to keep pushing forward. And then now you see me with friends and I'm just like droopy. You know?
Yeah. You're beat. You're really beat. To me, it's always like the perfect way to balance is setting like clear expectations of like what I'm trying to achieve. And then if I'm just going in circles, it's like, all right, I'm just going to chill out because if I keep going, like clearly this is just not leading anywhere. I'd rather, and we actually had a conversation about this. It's not just about investing a lot of time, but investing productive time, right? Whether you spend 15 minutes or 45 minutes, if the same piece of project or task is getting done, then don't waste 45 minutes doing this one task if you're not mentally there yet. Wait, get it done when you're prepared and you can get it done in 15 minutes and move on. You know, I think that's super important for people. It's like just because you're spending 8 hours in front of the computer doesn't mean that they were a good 8 hours. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just best step away, chill out, go for a walk, whatever it may be, come back to the computer with the right mindset, you know?
There's something I always preach about doing something with intentionality. Mm-hmm. And if you are going through this today, I think something that's always helpful is have a checklist of what you aim to do that day. Even if you take it a step further, you even schedule parts of your day out and adhere to that. But if you don't, you can always kind of check into your day, relax a little bit or whatever is the mode that works for you, whether it's you jump straight into the thing that you want to do or whether, for me, it's like, say, drink some tea, put on a podcast, something like that, and then just look over what I plan to do that day. But the point is that at the end of the day, you check out and you say, did I accomplish what I set out to do today? Am I being truthful to myself and saying, yes, this was realistic today? And do I have to step it up a little bit because I was taking it easy? Do I have to roll back because it was too much? Or the thing we talked about with behind the scenes, how we do everything, is the task too vague and is it too big?
That's right.
Just like record podcast for me isn't something that will get me to do it.
No, but when we break it down, that's right. Actually, guys, what I want to offer here is if you think that we should dive deeper into this topic on how to approach a productive day and how to end a productive day, why don't you guys leave a 5-star review with a yes or a no, and we'll take that into consideration. If there's enough yeses, we'll create a YouTube video for it, and then we'll link it down in the future below, or we'll let you guys know when it's created. to
And you
see.
can do that either in the Apple Podcasts or you can do that in Spotify.
That's
We'll
right.
check both of those and bring it back into the next episode.
100%. Yeah, because I think that's a really great topic, and I think a lot of people would like to learn more about that, right? Because I think there was a point in time, even for myself, where I was like, all right, like when working from home started to become more and more of a thing, I was like, damn, like how should I start my day? Like it just feels so new to me to start my day and just stay in my house all day, right? Especially in the line of work that I'm in, which is sales. It was really difficult, but I adapted. You know, we talked a little bit about it. I also watched tons of YouTube videos, but I think I wouldn't want people to have to watch 10 different YouTube videos to find out this information. I think we can definitely give you guys like a nice 10 essential things or 5 essential things to do to start a productive day.
It definitely applies now more than ever because everybody is just stuck at home and they're not used to that. I know I excelled when I woke up, had my morning ritual once again, some tea, a bagel, whatever it is, breakfast,
Yeah, sure.
dipped out, just went straight to work, came right back afterwards, you know, had commuting between, had some podcast listening between, which is part of the day for me.
Yeah.
Come back immediately, start to cook dinner because it was that time. And then afterwards,
Just so you guys know, this man never skips a meal. Never.
I don't understand how people do it. But so just at the end of that day, I only had one thing left. I only had like 3 hours left of the day by the time that was all done. Partly because of the long commute time. So what did I do with that at that point? You know, I did whatever I wanted. If I worked on my art, if I called you and we started working or something like that, and it really worked out. Or if I wanted to chill.
Or if you want to chill, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
My next question for you, you know, in 2020, where you're starting to get so many celebrities, right? Before, when we were kids, I know you remember this. When we were kids, celebrities were pop stars and rock stars and rappers, actors and actresses. You know, like you would be like, wow, like, can you imagine Tom Cruise was in Boston? Like how did we not see him? Oh my God. Now there's so many celebrities. There's so many people with influence because you have hundreds of thousands of people who have garnered an audience through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, even LinkedIn. You know, all these social media platforms have their own celebrity statuses.
Yeah.
Then you still have your traditional celebrities. Do you think in 2020, do you think that the gap between celebrities and regular people, in quotes here, gets larger? Or do you think in 2020 that it's starting to blend a little bit more, like the access to these people?
I would say the wealth gap gets larger.
The wealth gap is absolutely getting larger.
Yeah.
My taxes will prove that.
But I think access is more prevalent today. I mean, even look at David Dobrik when he still was at the early start of his vlogs and he's just at home just like we are. When I say at home, you know, maybe whether it's with his parents or just small apartment, whatever it is. And at some point he started reaching out to celebrities and getting them on the videos and stuff like that. And he was always psyched. It wasn't guaranteed for him that they were going to reach back to him.
Facts. I agree. I think, especially because of social media and just the internet in general, that me personally, I think that there's more access to these people. They're not only seen on the newspaper or television and they hide away in their homes. They're active on social media too. They're scrolling through their timelines. And that if you contact them at the right point, they might see that. They might view that. They might want to reach back out. You know, I think the access between an audience and the performer, you know, whatever they perform, whether it's on a YouTube video or it's a TikTok dance or whatever it may be, I think it gets closer and closer, you know, until we get to a point where there's apps now like Clubhouse. You know, I recently got invited to the Clubhouse app. It's an app that is currently in beta. And what they do is that they use audio. It's an audio platform, right? And the access right now to these celebrities is so accessible. on this app.
And how is it accessible?
Well, I'll tell you this. So the way that they work is they go almost like a forum room, right? Based on a certain topic. You just hop in and these people are all communicating. And at certain points, you can also communicate depending on the type of chat room that it is. Sometimes it's a chat room led by a certain group of people, right? Because they're there to have an open conversation that people can listen into live. Or there's other ones that are just completely open. Everyone can chat, right? So I, got this notification and Joe Budden is in this chat room and it's asking me if I want to join. So I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. I want to hear what Joe Budden has to say. Not Joe Biden, Joe Budden. So I click in, whatever. And he's just chopping it up with some girl. He's like, are you going to send the nudes or not? He's like, are you going to send the nudes or not? And I'm like, yo, Joe Budden is on Clubhouse wilding. That was just a small part of the conversation. They were talking about a lot about production.
Was it text? Because you mentioned forum. Is it text based?
It's audio based forums.
So everyone is just submitting an audio.
Submitting audios, yeah, and it is really cool. But our good friend Angel Leon, he was the one who invited me, and he's in the music business, and there is a chat room that I actually came across as well, and what they do is they encourage artists to go in, show some of their songs, and people will just kind of rate it, give feedback, or just appreciate it, right? And he hops in and he's like, whatever, I got nothing to lose. There's like 20 people in there. So he starts playing some of his music. People love it. Someone in that room, in that chat room, is a member of Brockhampton.
No way.
Yeah, and they're like, yo, I really fuck with this, man.
Do you know what member it was? Or?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe one day we can get Foolish on here. He could talk a little bit more about that. But that member was like, hey, man, drop your Twitter in here. I'm going to follow you right now. Followed him. And I think that in itself just closes the gap even more between community, audience, and performer, influencer.
Talking about that specific member, right? I don't know the grandest of them, right? Because there's like 10 of them or something like that. Obviously, not each one can share all the fame as Kevin does, right? But it's what's more apparent now is the accessibility, not just to that person, but maybe the clique that's around them.
Yeah.
Because now you can see someone that works within the team of that celebrity, and whether it's directly because they were tagged or whether you just get into the industry enough and you start to see the work of others, right?
That's it, man.
Through maybe a comment or a tag or whatever it might be. And now that's someone with a lot less influence than that celebrity who you could probably reach out to, and
you now have more access, and it just opens another door. I mean, again, leading back to Angel Leon and some of the cool things that he's done. I remember the producer of Mo Mamba, right? Yeah. For Sheck West. He did a live Twitch stream where people can submit their songs, and he will listen to it. He'll give you feedback and let you know.
It starts with an N.
Yeah, I want to say it's Nestle.
I think so. I was gonna say Nelly, but
no, it's not Nelly. I want to say it's Nestle, and that's why I didn't drop a name because I wasn't 100% sure, but I'm pretty certain. I could be wrong. If so, my total mistake, man.
But you did a great job on Mobamba.
Facts. Yeah. And but what he was doing was, just listening to people's songs on Twitch live to an audience of like 50,000 people. You know what I mean? Which is really great. So even if he doesn't fuck with your song, right? There's still 50,000 people
listening to that.
Listening.
With I imagine the name of the song and the artist.
Name of the song, the artist, the whole nine. So if they like it, they add it to their playlist. They share that with their friends. And if he liked it, which he liked Angel's song, he added it to his playlist.
And talking about the sharing with friends, right? Because Maria was on vacation in Croatia, and she was playing the album, right? And not only now her friends will play, because you know how fire that album
of course
is.
Angel's album is so damn good. If you guys have not listened to it or heard about it, it's called Te Hago Falta. Check it out. I mean, I worked with Foolish for some of the promo. formerly known as Foolish, now known as Angel Leon. I worked with him closely on the production of his promo videos, and when we went out to Florida to help produce this album, I was a big part of that. So it means a lot if you guys show some love. That's a good friend of ours. Again, his name is Angel Leon, and the album name is Te Hago Falta.
Yeah, but back to that story. Now she's playing the album in the beach, and people that don't even speak like English are coming up to her, and they're like, "Yo, like, where?"
That's funny because it's not even. Not only is it English, it's
in
Spanish. So it's like you got people who don't speak English,
Yeah.
don't speak Spanish, and they're like,
What is that?
"Whoa,
Yeah.
I fuck with that." And it's just that simple. And I think apps like Clubhouse close the gap even more. And then there's also other things like that are going to be really interesting to see that I've been listening into on Clubhouse. You know, when I logged in, because it's a networking app.
Yeah.
You know, because you're really having close, intimate conversations with a group of people. Some of them range from topics on racial tension and oppression, and then others were about pure productivity, tech. Some things were about production and film making and writing, you know. But I hopped into one about tech, and there's people talking about some really interesting apps and some great patents that they just got approved for. And I think this app is something to look out for, especially because of how new it is. There's only like 25 to 3,000 people on the app currently, and it's already valued at like $20 million, which is freaking mad, bro.
And so is that just total users or monthly active users?
I think that's total users because they're under beta.
That's crazy because
And a lot of them are celebrities. So right now, if you can get an invitation to that app, you have more access to the celebrities on that platform than ever before. I just got a notification right before we started the podcast. A Boogie is on this. You know, you have a couple of other. They had a whole Lion King audition for the Lion King movie for people who play instruments or produce or whatever it may be. A live audition, and I'm just in there chilling, listening in, you know, to a live audition for the Lion King, which is just mad, bro.
It's crazy because a lot of people go through the monthly active users of like as how they value applications.
Yeah.
And unless you're hitting like a month, you're not really
Doing numbers.
You're not looking at millions for
No,
value.
but just think about the type of users, right? Active users just means that they log in daily, but for how long?
Or monthly.
Or monthly, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like these conversations, you know, you're in a chat room for 45, 50 minutes at a time, you know, because they're really great conversations. Just the amount of usage, I'm sure that's coming in from these 3,000, or maybe they have more now. I'm not sure, you know, is probably crazy. It is probably crazy the amount of usage on this app. And I think this is something to look forward to. But on that note, guys, we're going to have another quick ad break here. So what we do want to mention is, again, I'm at Purdue.com. That is AMESPERDUES.com. Log in, take a look, and there you'll see our shop. We have a digital and physical copy of the magazine. What's your favorite?
I definitely go digital.
Digital, right?
It's just because you can access it anywhere.
Anywhere.
But what I love is we spent a lot of creative energy. I think it was the most compiled set of visuals that I've ever worked on. I've always worked on like a one-of-one, but this is a fluid visual guide. Yeah, throughout those multiple pages. And it's our first one, right? So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and it's absolutely beautiful. So check it out. Also, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can let us know by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. There, we will always take a look at them and address them in the following episode. So if you have those, leave those in the form of a 5-star review. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, I think we go for the closing comments here. You're kind of scared of going back into quarantine soon.
I am, because, you know, I'm a free-spirited, I'm a bird in the wind.
You like to be out and about.
I love to be out and about, and I hate authority. So when I feel like authority is oppressing me in any way, even when I was a kid, even from my parents, I'd ask them if I can go do something. They tell me no. I go and do it, just because
Did you even ask why?
I would always ask why. And they would tell me because they said so. And that pissed me off even more.
Yeah, that just doesn't work
That's
out.
not cool. But I've always had this issue with authority. So the thought that someone can tell me who can be in my house, how many people I can have in my home, if I can even leave my house, that really bugs the hell out of me. And it's a terrible thing because there's a lot of small businesses that rely on in-person interactions, and they're gonna hurt really bad again from this. And God only knows if we're gonna get more stimulus checks for the people who really need it or whatever it may be. But can the economy take, can the mental health of people even take another lockdown? You know what I mean? I don't know.
What I found interesting was the health perspective. I had the conversation earlier about spreading the virus, right? And just the amount of, I mean, it's just logical, right? The more people infected, the more people die. And I was just curious, like, if this tends to grow to the entire country, which it looks like, I'm not going to say it looks like it's going to go to hit every single person in the country, but in the past it was spreading in clusters, and now you can't even tell where it's coming from.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of science that goes on both ends of this coin, right? Whether we should be as scared and proactive as we are being, or if we have gone past the point of no return and it's just like, we're doing things that don't even matter anymore. Who knows? All I know is that I'm going to protect myself, as much as I can, which is going to be respecting my own boundaries and the boundaries of other people in their space. Wear my mask when I'm in public with people that I don't know. But that's not to say that, and me, I'm not the type to be like petrified over here. You know what I mean? I wash my hands. I don't really touch my face. So,
dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared. They're a good. I'm not gonna say it's someone that we went to high school with, and they're younger than us. To my knowledge, no pre-existing medical history. They got COVID and they still can't breathe right to this day. And who knows the specifics and everything? But I'm not interested in finding out.
Yeah.
You know how,
especially because you have that weak ass immune system, respiratory system, muscular system,
I can breathe well,
cardiovascular system, blood circulation system.
Yeah, all right.
But big brain, 500 IQ at all times.
On,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
my IQ is gonna beat down the virus.
That's right, baby. Come on, man. No, but what do you think? All right, so what do you think about like people are finding alternate ways of making money now that they're home all the time, right? Like there's all different types of things that people are doing, whether it's fulfillment by Amazon, right? They're doing like FBAs or anything like that, or just even celebrities, right? Celebrities are doing these extra things for cash. Everyone has now a paywall for their content. Celebrities are doing shout outs, right?
Oh, with the Cameo app. You can literally download this app today, and there's a list of celebrities on there, and they set their rates, and you can ask them to shout you out. And we just saw right before the episode, we're doing our research, and we saw Snoop Dogg shout out someone for their birthday.
Shouting out someone for their birthday, and that just that makes me skeptical now, right? Knowing a lot of independent artists, and I've seen some artists who post, shout outs from these not massive household names anymore, but still, if you're in the industry, you know who these people are, and they're getting shout outs from them. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder how they connected or how whatever it may be. Now knowing about this, right? Because you put me onto this, it makes me skeptical. Like, what's authentic, what's not?
I did actually. I saw a controversial product. I think the long story short version of this is that it just, I don't think it was as advertised. I can't remember if it was like a phone or something like that. Like it was just it just wasn't what it was advertised to be.
Sure.
But they would use, I don't know if it was Cameo or what, but it was a lot of different stars shouting out this product, and they would post the shout outs to their marketing, whether it's like their Instagram or something like this. And to those that might not know, they're saying, wow, like this is a verified thing. People are talking about this.
That app, the Cameo app, you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember the Fire Festival?
Oh my God. Who doesn't remember that?
Right. Okay. So it's funny though, because he was trying to build an app that allows performers to put their rate. They just put their rate on there. You can now schedule these artists to show up and perform as long as you could pay their rate. But it was a clean way to do it without them having to now have talent agencies and all this thing. You just log into the app. If it says that they want $25,000, you give them the $25,000. They're happy, you're happy, and it's done. That's what this reminds me of in a way, right? Like, and I'm always skeptical of these things, just because too much accessibility with these artists and these people, and I think it hurts them, because then it shows like less. To me, it shows less value, right? I think there's a fine line between having access or having a path to your community and audience, and just being too present. You know what I mean? I think some of the celebrity status comes from them being unaccessible at the same time. It's like, man, like
that's such a interesting take, because I agree with you in one sense, but in the other sense, I think of these documentary style celebrities such as Gary Vee,
yes,
and the whole Kardashian family who grew up off of documenting, and just from people having that close access, they get hooked.
They have a window, but they still don't have access, right? Like, yeah, you could watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians season 1 through 20 or 25, whatever the heck it is. But if you were to DM Kim K, like, hey, can I ask you a question about season 19, episode 5?
Yeah.
You think she's going to hit you back up? No, right? But now, if everyone's getting a happy birthday shout out from Snoop Dogg ain't shit to me anymore. Then I'll be like, man, I know 3,000 people who have the same fucking...
Would you still bump the new album though?
Probably not. But that's because I'm East Coast, born and raised. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying I got beef with the West Coast. I'm just saying that I prefer East Coast music most of the time.
If it was Rocky, actually Rocky would never go up and shout out people all day. That's
hell no.
About that kind of energy.
And that's what, like, so when someone does get that Rocky shout out, you're gonna be like, oh, who's
Rocky's
this
just
person?
A real rock star. He's an
actual rock star for sure. Yeah, but I think it's just, I don't know, double-edged sword to me. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to be too saturated in your presence, right? With like people and what you're giving them. But at the same time, you don't want to be inaccessible, because now people kind of don't feel as connected to you as a person or as a celebrity or whatever it may be. So I think it's all very interesting, and I'm excited to see what builds out of that, right? Because that's going to lead to other things as well.
I mean, in terms of access, right, with the YouTubers, a lot of them, the budding ones, are always trying to grow. What they do is they sit there for an hour after they post it, and they'll reply back.
100%, yeah, which is...
You have actual attention from them.
Yeah, and that's I think a way to incentivize people to be present when they post, right? Be one of the first few people.
It's to always feedback and help out with the views and whatnot.
100%, yeah. So it's like if they know that they can be there, like one of the first 1,000 comments, and potentially get a shout out or a favorite or like whatever from one of their favorite influencers, that's awesome. That's a bigger incentive to watch something that you already plan on watching. You know what I mean? So I think there's a business behind that as well. I'm curious to see what the business will be, what will be sprouting from apps like Cameo, right? They give you a even closer, opportunity to these celebrities. I wonder what comes from there. You know what I mean? What's going to happen next? How much more access can we get? What else can I get these people to say or do? Can I get them to show up now at a price? You know what I mean? But I think this has been a great conversation. And with that, I want to finish these drinks. Cheers, my friend. Cheers to you guys. I'm going to wash this down. That is some cheap whiskey. Thanks for leaving it, George.
George, you're
that is
terrible.
one of our friends that came to visit us. But really quick, guys, we just want to mention again, 5-star reviews in Apple Podcasts or Spotify is the best way to leave any feedback, comments, questions, concerns.
And if you haven't already, go follow us on the IG. That's AMESPERDUESCO. Purdue Co. on the IG, and that will pretty much take you everywhere else.
Facts. And also just, swing by the YouTube channel, subscribe. We're going to start posting some more videos on there. Again, things like how to start a productive day, things based off of our travels and stories, and some more interviews and
how to find local places of interest that you want to go to. Just how to travel locally.
Facts. And on the next episode, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how I've been sliding into DMs of celebrities and influencers and how it's been going.
Ha ha ha. No, you're not. No,
I'm going to air it all out. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for being here. Cheers.